Hello, and welcome to this tutorial guide for how to install and set up HarborFM. So there are a lot of ways to install HarborFM, but today I'm going to show you how to do it using Docker Compose and Caddy. I'm also going to be installing this on a fresh dedicated machine, so your mileage may vary. I'm going to show you how to set up and install the app with the assumption that you want to have the application running on one domain and have your main podcast on another domain. The first thing you want to do is configure your domain. So in my case, I'm going to open up Cloudflare and I'm going to be using a domain called flowrecaster.com. I'm going to have the root of the domain act as the management domain, and then I'm going to have podcast.flowrecaster.com act as the actual podcast domain. You may not be using Cloudflare, but it's going to be the same for basically everything. You want to add 2 new A-type records, and they're going to point to the IP of your machine. From there, we are going to SSH into the machine. We are going to copy the install command. So you can go to HarborFM.com and then click on Docker Compose plus Caddy if you want to. We're going to be using Caddy because it will automatically configure your TLS certificates, so we don't have to deal with certbot. Now back here, we're going to paste in our command, run, and it's going to tell us that Docker is not installed. So we must install Docker first. I've gone ahead and installed Docker, and I'm going to now run this command. It's going to download the Docker Compose and any configuration files, and then it's going to ask you for your domain name. Now in this case, if I go back, it is going to be this main management plane. So I'm going to paste in flowrecaster.com. And then I'm going to say Caddy. Then email, I can skip because I'm not using Nginx. I am not going to install WebRTC for the moment. We're going to do America to New York, and it's going to give me an error because I do not have this user added to Docker. So if you get this error, make sure you add your user to the Docker. Now, it might take a minute or two, but from there, you should be good to go. So you can, to actually set it up, go to this URL. So I'm going to put that in, and we will wait a second as this loads up. Now, something to note is you can see that we are running HTTPS, and we did not do any SSL configuration, and that's because of Caddy. So for this, I'm just going to enter in admin@flowrecaster.com. For the password, I'm going to put a super secret password into here. The host name should most likely be the same host name. We don't want to enable account registration right now. We do want to enable a public feed, and we don't care about importing any assets into our library. We're going to click complete setup. I'm going to go ahead and re-enter that information and click sign in. The main setup is complete, but you might want to do some additional settings. So if you go to admin up here and go to settings, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. One of the things I would recommend probably turning on is 2-factor authentication. So you can go through and use TOTP if you want to, and other things, but it could definitely be, it's definitely a good security measure to enable. So in order to actually configure our podcast domain, we're going to go ahead and create a new show. We're going to call it Test Show. Create the episode. Then we will click on this gear here. So to show you what it looks like without setting it up, if I go to my public page, you can see it says up here, feed/test show. Then you can see my episodes here. Now, what we want to do instead is configure the podcast domain. So if I click on the gear and I go to distributions, you can see it just says site URL copyright license. Okay, so what we want to do to fix that is go to settings. We'll go to DNS. We will enable allow linking domain. Now, there's a whole rigmarole you can go through with Cloudflare to make some automated settings appear, but we're not going to do that in a second. We're just going to enable just linking domain. We're going to go back to our test show. We're going to click settings, distribution, and now we will see link domain. So what we're going to do is copy our actual podcast domain. We're then going to paste that into the link domain. We're going to click save. Now, when I go to the public feed, it's still going to show this. But if I paste in my new domain, podcast.flowrecaster.com, the first time takes a second, because that says you get the certificate, the SSL certificate from Caddy. But if we refresh the page, you can see it instantly goes to our show. And you can see there's no banner now. So if I go here, you can see the HarborFM banner goes away and it just shows the episodes here. So that's how you kind of do the initial setup and install.